Welcome and thank you for joining us at the Jimco Silver State 300. As we continue through the COVID era, our lives seem to mimic the actual race courses we race on. Only there's no GPS file and no driver's meeting to get the important info. There was a start last March, and it seems every corner, dip, or hill there seems to change, and the finish line seems to get further and further away with every mile. So now, let me introduce you to Daryl Folks, the owner of Best in the Desert, and a few comments from him.
Hello, Best in Desert racers and pit support personnel. It's been a while since I've had a chance to address all of you without having regular riders meetings and doing this virtually. What I want to pinpoint today is the issue we had with time trials. Unfortunately, it seems like we keep running into these block walls. Things we've run into lately, including this issue, are not of the norm. I would like to apologize. I know that some of you are disappointed and a little bit upset regarding time trials, but I've always said this: time trials, fun runs, those are little mini events by comparison of the main event, which is the race. And I've always said we've got to have the race. That's first and foremost, and we will be having this race. There is no ifs or buts about it. But I want to emphasize a little more on that. These are unforeseen situations that keep happening to us on the midnight hour. And unfortunately, it puts us in a position where we have to make a last minute decision. They're not easy decisions to make. But the way I saw this is there was no way I was going to take a chance on it with this dust permit, not knowing if we were going to be able to even get the dust permit, whether or not we needed it. I did not want to take a chance of everybody traveling out here for an extra day, extra rooms, extra waste of time. So we had to make a quick decision on this, unfortunately. We are ahead of the curve now. We have talked to higher ups, and it sounds like there were some mistakes made, but once again, we just couldn't take the chance because we just didn't know. This later information came up here recently. Nonetheless, we couldn't reverse course either at the same time. I appreciate all of you sticking with us and supporting us and being loyal to Best in the Desert. We do our best for you, and we're going to continue to do our best. From here on out, we have the mindset that we need to get out in front of all these curves, way out in front, for these unforeseen incidences that come up. I call it the crazy year of COVID. It seems like that's what it is, just like the rest of the year. So we're going to get around these block walls moving forward at this point in time. Regarding the race itself, this is, in my opinion, the best race course that we have. Silver State 300 is an absolute classic. I was up there over the weekend. There was a lot of weather, a lot of rain. I was riding in the rain, in the snow, in the wind, sleet, you name it. So there is some moisture in the dirt. Don't know if it will last. Maybe some more storm fronts will come through. But the course looks good. It's marked well. Great layout. You guys are going to really have a good time with this one. On a final note, regarding the race itself, motorcycles in particular, you are the first ones on the course. Please, you lead bikes, have it in the back of your mind, animals, as in deer and wild mustangs. They are in the area, especially when you're in the trees. Have your senses in the back of your mind that an animal could step out on you. So please, ride with a little bit of caution, just a little bit of caution. It's important. Once again, I want to thank everybody. In closing, I want to thank everybody for your support and your loyalty to Best in the Desert. Have a great time this weekend. And at this point, I will turn this back over to Jeff, and we apologize once again. So Jeff Phillips, our race operations manager, will step up here again and detail your race notes. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Daryl, for those great words. Now, a few sponsors and others I'd like to thank. Number one, Jimco, our title sponsor, for all the support and dedication to the off-road community. It is greatly appreciated. Second, and very important, is Lisa Domina with the BLM Caliente. Her tireless work is amazing, and we thank you for everything you've done. The County of Lincoln, Nevada. We are entirely in Lincoln County, and we appreciate all their efforts to make this happen every year. The City of Caliente. You'll find we literally run through the town, and we appreciate everything, and they always ask us back every year. Next, Boulder Station Hotel and Casino. Thank you for allowing us to use your venue. It's an amazing place. Enjoy and partake in all they have there. And finally, the Herbst family. We appreciate your efforts in attempting to make the time trials a reality. As Daryl spoke before, unfortunately that didn't work out, but we appreciate all their efforts and we look forward to working with them in the future. Most important is Team Best in the Desert. Without all my support and all their efforts, we could certainly not pull any of these events off. I could go into many names, but we appreciate all their efforts, and I thank you all for everything you do. Now, on to the race. Please read the final information packet. There's lots of information that we cannot attempt to touch in this driver's meeting. We'd be here for days. Please read it thoroughly. Read all the information. Go to the schedule of events. Go to all the information. There's numerous links in there on our website. Go to BITD.com and make sure you understand and you read everything. Day one, Friday, registration, tech inspection, expo. Make sure you're on time to all events. That's number one. Please remember, we're still in COVID, and there's still mandates out there, state, city, county, and other mandates, especially at the hotel they require. Make sure you wear your mask at all times, even outdoors, please. Do your best to have the social distancing. It's still 6 feet at this time. Until that changes, that's what we have. Please follow those two main rules. Registration, tech, and expo will start according to your assigned times. Some people say, well, why can't I just show up at 6 o'clock? Well, it's because we have to have times because of COVID. We are only allowed so many people. We had to look at what the entries are, and we set those times up. So please abide by the times on the schedule. Registration is at the Boulder Station Hotel and Casino in the Pasta Room. Inside the Boulder Station, please be on your best behavior so we're all welcome back. Remember, masks are still mandatory inside and outside. Tech and Expo, this will be in the north parking area of the Boulder Station. See the site maps for parking expo and tech inspection locations. It should be very self-explanatory. If you pull in off of Boulder Highway, it'll all make sense. You'll park to the right. Tech and expo will be to your left, right there. Please unload your vehicle and drive to the northeast corner of the parking lot and start staging to the expo area. This is different than we've been doing, where we've been asking you to leave them on the trailers. However, we are okay to unload the vehicles and proceed through the tech and expo area. When you have completed tech, please reload your vehicle and do not drive around the property. You will be stopped, you will be kicked off the property, and if you're riding on Boulder Highway or any public streets, you definitely will be ticketed. So please load your vehicle up and leave the area. Friday, 6 o'clock to 6:30, we will have a Facebook Live drivers meeting to answer any questions from this or any questions that may arise while you're doing tech and registration. So please go on. If you have any questions, it's not mandatory that you go to the tech or to the Facebook Live, but if you have any questions, please go on there. Not a bad thing to listen to it. So if there is questions that are different and to learn information. Day 2, Saturday, which is race day. Again, please wear your masks. It is mandatory. Even if you see people that aren't wearing them out there, please, let's do our best to wear our masks. And again, while you're in the pit areas, use your social distancing, your 6 feet rule, and while you're in stores, when you're in the towns along the way, please be smart, wear masks, and when you're in there. Refer to the pit support book for all info to the start, pits, and finish areas. One correction that was brought to my attention was as you pull out of the pits, it said to turn left to go to pit 6. You have to turn right to go to pit 6. You head to the east. So don't forget that in your pit books. When you arrive at the start, remember this is an old airstrip. Please park as near the entrance as available. Don't go all the way to the right thinking you're going to get really close to the start. It's going to get bottled up and it'll get harder and harder to turn around. So when you come in, park your vehicle, unload your race vehicle, and then proceed at the proper time to the start and staging areas. We'll have signs. They'll go down there. We'll have a guy standing down there and he will advise you of where to go according to numbers in your staging area. At the finish, we ask that you go over the BITD Mesa. We've had a few people that decide they want to go around. Obviously they had a bad race or whatever. If you're hurting or you're sick, you don't feel good, I get it. But please try to go over the Mesa, do the interviews. Sponsors like it, the people like it, and they want to hear from you. And George likes to talk, so that's always good. Now we'll go talk about the standard markings. Pretty much the same as always, what you're accustomed to. Pink ribbon, there's a lot of pink ribbon out there. There's some areas that don't have many bushes, so be aware there'll be more stakes than pink ribbon. The white mile markers every mile along the course. Yellow turn aheads with a yellow arrow at high speed turns. And there'll be pre the turn. The actual turn we marked with a pink arrow and a green directional arrow left or right. That is on the actual turn. That's we mark on the actual turn, and then on the danger aheads will be before, and the actual dangers are on the dangers. So the danger is not before, it's on the danger. White and black wrong ways are posted on all non-used paths. Please be advised, if you see a white wrong, don't just keep going. Stop, look, don't turn around and go backwards and get in an accident. Proceed to the race course. Do your best to stay on the race course and don't miss it. Orange traffic cones will be used to delineate turns if needed. You'll see those out there in a few spots. Do not hit the cones or there will be a penalty. Speed zones. We have 25-mile speed signs and resume speeds at the end. I will go over the speed zones here in just a minute. We will receive the list of infractions from racing tracks. That's how we tell who went too fast. If you are speeding excessively, you will be penalized. There are 7 speed zones, all at pit stops. Pit 3 in Caliente has a very long speed zone, so listen to this. You will leave the pit, immediately have a paved road crossing. You'll go about 100 feet and turn down an old railroad grade to your right and head south. You'll go across a really cool wooden trestle bridge that you'll want to come back and look at. You'll proceed across the bridge and you'll go down a paved road for approximately 1.3 miles where the pavement ends. That is all speed zone. We'll have signs through there. We have people at the end and at the start to tell, plus we have racing tracks. So when you're on the pavement, go slow, go 25 miles an hour. When you get to the end of the dirt road, there's about 1,500 foot of dirt to the last person that is allowed us to run next to his property. Mr. Senline, we appreciate him as well. And when you get to his entrance, you'll see the resume speed sign and it's raced from there. So please, no passing in the speed zones, 25 miles an hour. I know it's a long one, but you'll get through it and there's plenty of racing out there. Race course GPS. Here's a great comment. We updated the GPS files yesterday on Tuesday. A few teams called and said they were having problems. So make sure you have the most recent files. I didn't really find any. I wasn't 100% sure, so I don't know if it was a download issue on our side or on their side, but make sure you check that. Danger locations. Make sure you refer to the most recent danger list on the BITD website. We did have a couple of ones that were indicated wrong on the miles, so you'll see them in the GPS, but they're also on there. Danger locations. First, 0 to 278 miles. It's a race course. The whole thing's dangerous, guys. Use your head. Be smart. I know it's a race. We've all raced, but use your head. You don't need to do something dumb. I see as I drive around the course, marking the course, there's lots of spots where you've missed the course. Most of them are, we mark them as well as we can. Some of them are just, I can tell where you're over driving because you can see where, it's only a few people. So be smart. Don't end up in a ditch. Don't hit a tree because it hurts really bad and it destroys your vehicle. As far as actual spots, 3.1 is right off the start, and it's a high-speed right turn through a cattle guard. So you'll go about 1.5 miles, you'll make a left onto a real fast road, and you'll go down the road, and at the end of the road, there's a really sharp right-hand corner at 3.1 with a cattle guard. So use your head, don't hit the cattle guard, don't hit the fence. You can see it if you're driving smart, but no, tell your co-driver 3.1 is where we want to be smart. Mile 3.1 to 11.8. Once you go through that cattle guard, you're in a grazing allotment. Watch for cows. Be smart out there. We don't need to hit a cow, especially if you're on a motorcycle or in a car, either or. Don't hit the cows. If you see the cows, hit your horn, slow down a little bit, make sure they usually get out of the way, make sure you get by them. We don't need anybody hitting cows. Mile 19.2 is pit 1. All pits are mandatory stop at the entrance. Please be smart. Once you're into the pit, it's a speed zone. 25 miles an hour until you see the resume speed sign at the end of the pit, and then you're onto the race. Mile 63.2, you go through a gate and under some power lines. Be smart. Obviously, between 19.2 and 63.2, there are dangers. I could go over them. There's tons of them. They're all marked. They're marked very well. A lot of them you can see, some of them you can't, but we've got them all marked. But at 63.2, you will be approaching pit 2, and you'll see a bunch of power equipment. There's a substation there. There's power lines that go across the road. There's fences. It's very confusing, but we have it marked very well. If you slow down, tap the brakes a little bit, and go through it, you'll be just fine. Don't hit the fence. Don't hit the power lines. Don't hit the guy wires. Mile 63.3, pit 2. Mandatory stop, as always, 25 miles an hour, no passing. Mile 63.5, there's a fence to your left right next to the course. The speed zone was extended this year because that fence got taken out last year. So when you leave the pit, it's a short distance, about 1,000 feet down to the fence. You'll turn right and you'll see the resume speed sign. Mile 70.8 is paved road crossing number 1. Be smart, guys. Use your head. Let the paved road crossing captain direct you across. Do not attempt to go on your own. We don't need anybody hit by a car. Mile marker 93.2 is pit 3 coming into Caliani. Mandatory stop, 25 miles an hour, no passing. Right after the pit, 93.3, short distance, paved road crossing 2. Remember what I said above. Refer back if you have to go back and listen to the long speed zone down the paved road across the wooden bridge. Next one is mile 128.6. It's paved road crossing 3 near Panaca. Mile 134 to 135. It's a super high speed, big gravel road. You're in the area. We're not making a speed zone, but use your head. You'll see a fence right next to it. Don't hit the fence. Get around it. It's a short distance. It's not even the actual fence is not even a quarter of a mile. Use your head, guys. Don't be hitting the fence, and get through it. Get back to racing at 135. Mile 139.4 is pit 4, mandatory stop, 25 miles an hour, no passing. Mile 141.8 is another paved road crossing. Again, this is on Highway 93, very fast road. Use your head. 143.3, just a short distance, as you notice. Paved road crossing 5. The next one to watch for, 163.2. It's another really high-speed road. We call it the Pan Am Road, Pan Am Mine, hence. So when you get to the end of it, there's a big turn to the left. Use your head. Don't go blowing out into the highway. Mile 166.4, pit 5, mandatory stop, 25 miles an hour, no passing. At 211.3, pit 6, mandatory stop, 25 miles an hour, no passing again. 222.5, stay on the course. As you look ahead up on the ridge, you're going to see the cars that are about 3 or 4 miles ahead of you going across. Don't cut across. We have a guy there, he'll be watching, but stay on the course, follow the marked course, follow the sand wash to your right. It'll head back towards the east, and then you'll turn and come right back almost to the same spot. Let's see where we're at now. 233.6. Watch for cows. For quite a while now across the desert, and be smart out there. Don't hit a cow like we said earlier. Okay, mile 262.5. Pit 7, mandatory stop, 25 miles an hour, no passing. That's also the last pit stop in the race. 265.9 is another paved road crossing. Be smart. And there is one that's not listed on the dangers that we added in here. Is at 274.3. It's a big left turn going down the hill. Don't blow it. You're almost to the finish. It's not on the GPS, so write that one down. 274.3. You won't have any problem with it, but it's good to be aware of it. Mile 277.9 is the scoring loop, end of the race, finish line. Do not stop. Continue on. There will be a 25-mile-an-hour zone sign ahead just past that. Proceed down to the Best in the Desert box fan, as you're all aware. It's about 3/4 of a mile down to where I'll be standing, handing out finisher pins, and then we'll stage you to get up on the mesa. That'll be the next thing, which will be about another 50 to 100 yards down the road, and then you'll be able to get in your truck and go home. All stop checks are at pit entrances. Understand that. All stop checks are at pit entrances. We do not have any remote random ones out on the course. Obviously, we have volunteers out there taking numbers, but as far as stopping, it's at all the pits. There are 6 paved road crossings. You must stop at all paved road crossings. Do not proceed until the paved road crossing captain tells you to go across. We don't need you hit, like I said earlier. There are 7 pit areas. Again, you must stop at all. At the stop sign at the beginning of all pits. All pits are very limited room. This is a chase race, so not everybody's in there at the same time. We don't need a huge pit area. Don't be a hog. Use as little room as you can. Be smart. As soon as you're done, load up your stuff and have your pit crews leave.
Go for it.
Race schedule and starting order. We had many calls and inquiries about the starting order. Unfortunately, there was not a qualifier, so we had to refer to the general rule book and rule SEC 20. And the start is based on current point standings. We understand this is not best case for some of you individuals, but for the whole, we felt it was the best. We have to have some kind of direction to go, and that's the direction that we're going based on what our rule book says. Now, on to closing times. This is important for all of you. We'll start with motorcycles and quads. Pit 1, 8 o'clock. These are also on bestinthedesert.com. Pit 2, 10 o'clock. Pit 3, 11:15. Pit 4 is 1 o'clock. Pit 5 is 2 o'clock. Pit 6 is 3:30. Pit 7 is 5:15. And the finish is 6:30. That means no motorcycles or quads will be allowed to leave the pit after that time. Now, on to cars, trucks, and UTVs. Pit 1, 1:50 closing. Pit 2, 3:30. Pit 3, 4:45. Pit 4, 6:30. Pit 5 is 7:30. And remember, if you leave Pit 5, between there and the next one, you'll have to have lights, because Pit 6 is 9 o'clock in the dark. Pit 7 is 10:30, and at the finish line, it's 11:30. So understand that, and when you're gonna have to put your lights on, don't get stuck out there without lights. Day 3, real quick, Sunday, May 2nd, continental breakfast at 9 o'clock, and awards at 11 at the Railhead Room in Boulder Station. Guys, we haven't had an awards in over a year. It'll be exciting to be able to see everybody. Mask will be mandatory. From what we've been told, Nevada's going to 80% occupancy rate, so we'll be able to have a lot of people in there. They'll have a number. I would say that if you get your trophy and you're early, please leave so somebody else may come in if we do hit the numbers. If the hotel will have somebody standing there counting, so they'll only let in the numbers that can be in there. But we should be pretty good to go. That's exciting. I'm excited to be able to get up there and stand in front of you all and talk and go over things. And a few final notes. Please remember, wear your mask at all times. When you're at the hotel, when you're in the Tech Expo area, when you're at the race, when you're in any of the stores along the way, which, by the way, we'd appreciate giving the stores along the way a little courtesy. Buy a Coke, buy a drink, buy whatever you can, buy a set of tires, whatever you have to do. We would appreciate, they like it. It comes back to the county, and that's one of the things that they're always looking for, is how much money we're spending in the county while we're there. Remember, all of these things will allow us to race into the future, especially in Lincoln County. We want this to happen again. They love us. They like us to be there. So don't do dumb things. Be smart, you know, be courteous, and portray us as good people. Please, as I said, to start off with, have fun, be safe, race hard, but number one, be safe, and get to the finish line. Get that finisher pin. Remember, if you got any questions, go to BITD.com and look for any other future 2021 information for races coming up. Our next race is motorcycle only. It'll be the Rocky Mountain World Hare and Hound Championship in Tonopah. It's a hare and hound, and it should be a blast, guys. We've been working really hard on that. It'll be all new for most of you. For some of the older ones like me, we remember racing there back in the 90s. It's an amazing place to race a motorcycle on single track, so you should enjoy it. The next race for all classes will be the 2021 Maxxis Tire Casey Folks Vegas to Reno. Again, as the press release had said, it is Vegas to Reno this year, and we look forward to seeing you guys in Dayton and having another awards in Reno. So we'll stay tuned for more information. Have a great race. We're super happy that you guys are here. We look forward to seeing you at the finish line, and take care. If you got any questions, give us a call, email us. Go on Best in the Desert. Watch on Friday at 6 o'clock on the Facebook Live, and we'll have a question and answer session. Thank you.